Right now, I want to bring in Adam Green. He's the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee. It's a grassroots organization that helps progressive candidates and committees. Adam, good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Good to be here.
I just want to go over that math. Why is a constituency that Tom Price won by 23% competitive for Democrats?
Yes, that was an early indication that even in this district, people weren't quite buying what Trump was selling even in November. But the resistance is strong, and that's what this race stands for. It was almost, as someone who communicates with 1 million activists every day, I can tell you it was unfathomable in January that we would see this continued energy 4 months later. The tax marches this weekend, this very vibrant campaign today. So we will see what happens tonight. But either way, this is one domino to fall among many in the next couple months. Right.
So that's the language we use on the day when people are trying to get out to the polling places. If it doesn't go that way and there's a runoff, does it weaken the argument that everybody's mad at Trump?
If Jon Ossoff comes in first place in the ruby red district of Georgia 6, that will not weaken the argument. It will strengthen the argument, and it will make clear that this is the first domino to fall. We have Tom Perry running in Virginia in June in a very competitive primary. We have Rob Quist running a competitive special election in Montana. And no matter what happens tonight, it's going to feed the energy of these other races. And if things boomerang back to Georgia in June, well, that's great.
All right. Let me ask you about people like Elizabeth Warren, Massachusetts Senator. Your group has done a lot of work with her, with Keith Ellison, with some very, very progressive members of the Democratic Party. What kind of messaging are you hearing? What kind of response are you getting from people?
Yeah, well, here's the beautiful thing. When Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders challenge power, challenge establishment power, challenge corporate power, that's a message that plays very well in the red states. Bernie Sanders goes to West Virginia, holds town hall meetings, and has the entire crowd applauding for Medicare for all. Right. Frankly, you don't need that kind of populist messaging to win in a blue state. It's bonus for them. But for people who are running in red states in particular, our advice to them is lean into economics, because even Republican voters are willing to cross party lines if they know that their family's economic interests. Well, college, on health care.
So is the argument here that some of these economic messages, these populist economic messages, actually don't sound dissimilar whether you've heard them from Donald Trump or you're hearing them from Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren? They're the working person against the establishment and the institutions.
Well, it's important for candidates to tell stories and to have heroes and villains. Unfortunately, Donald Trump's villains tend to be minorities, tend to be other people, whereas in a more democratic or progressive narrative, we're talking about what corporate power is. We're talking about, you know, when corporations pay 0% in taxes, or Donald Trump, that means your family pays more, right? If insurance companies are ripping you off, that means you have less health care and pay higher prices. So it's a different story, but both of them are largely aimed at speaking to the economic anxieties of people. It's just, who do you blame and who are the heroes in your story? In our case, you know, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are making a good case for government taking on corporate power.
Adam, good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Adam Green is the co-founder of the Progressive Change Campaign Committee.